Hey, what's good, everybody? Today I'm going to watch back 100 Thieves versus Leviatan on Bind. Again, I'm going to kind of just talk about the game organically. Anything that jumps out to me or I think might be useful for, players of all skill levels, I'm just going to yap about it. So, again, it might take me a long time to get through the video. We'll see how far I go. But yeah, if you guys want to see a specific game or have me VOD review a specific map between teams, just drop it in the comments and then I'll take a look. Or if you have I don't know, whatever you want to see more of out of me, just drop it in the comments and I'll try to help you guys out however I can. So real quick here, Bind, gnarly map, very, very controversial. Some people really like it, some people really hate it. Things that jump out of me off rip, double controller both sides, both teams running Gecko, Lev's running the Sky, and the Harbor. Um, and Harbor Gecko is kind of broken in my opinion, right? Because Harbor's a controller, but he's also kind of a pseudo initiator, and he really helps you secure bomb sites, right? It's very, very scary for defensive teams to play. Like, let's say you're coming out B, right? Let me just pull up Val Planet real quick. Let's say you're playing against a Harbor comp on Bind, and you lose hookah control start of the round, and Harbor goes through, or let's say Harbor's going up long, right? And he just walls off. See what I used to do when I was a coach. I used to do this. So he walls this off, right? It's very, very scary for the people playing on site to stay in sight, especially against the Gecko comp, Gecko Rays, right? Because Gecko Rays Viper, for that matter, right? They have so much util to just destroy you um, on site. Viper Molly top site that leaks through the site, Gecko Molly back site, Raise Nade for the Cubby, right? Or Raise Nade back site, whatever variation, however you want to do it, right? There's a million different possibilities and ways to do this, but the main point is that you can get nuked on site really easily. And with this Harbor wall, it's very hard for your teammates to come and rotate in, right? So against Harbor, you have to, and Gecko especially, you have to play more disruptive on defense, right? You cannot let the team get the bomb down. And now, what is Gecko's strength? Gecko's strength is getting the bomb down quickly, right? Send the wingman in, send your rays in, double satchel with flashes going and some util, and get the bomb down. And then at that point, you can play Viper Mollies, and just a lot of teams will just play for spam, right? So I just wanted to point that out, right? So just off rip, looking at the comps here, defensively, if I'm 100 Thieves, probably a game where you need to play a little bit more proactively on defense. Because if you let Leviatan get into positions like even outside hookah freely, right, or even top long, right, with the Gecko. I know these guys have lineups for this, for under hookah, for back sight. You know what I mean? Even I'm sure there's one for elbow, right? There's a million different possibilities, right? Same thing for A. You let even from outside showers, it's really, really hard. So how do you get disruptive on defense? There's lots of different ways to do it, right? Getting aggressive on extremities early in the round, even if it's like not optimal, can kind of prompt a reaction from the enemy team. And sometimes that's what you have to do, right? Especially against these heavy util comps, right? Other thing, what does this map have that every other map does not have? The TPs. Utilizing the TPs on defense, making the game extremely scrappy for the enemy team, and not letting them get the bomb down is the key to winning against this comp. Because I'm telling you now, if you let you know you let Harbor wall up, right? Let's say just he rips this, right? Get out hookah, they get the bomb down front sight, and then Harbor can go through and just wall this off, right? It's very, very hard for the enemy team to come through, even if they have flashes, right? Because you have people playing anti, and then they're slowed coming out of the choke, right? And then Viper's mauling the choke, and it's just a shit show, right? So those are the main things that stand out to me. 100 Thieves, I want to see them be proactive on defense a lot of the time. And for Leviatan, I want to see how they're able to combat that, right? Like, what kind of protocols do they have set in place if 100 Thieves double T does a hookah fight and they TP2 from A and one person is swinging from hookah, right? What is their reaction to that? And then also, how well do they stick to their original game plan if it's not interrupted with, right? So if their game plan is, okay, let's just do a heavy execs from outside hookah or outside shower with Gecko, and we get the bomb down front A or front B, if the enemy team can't stop us doing that, let's just continue doing what we're doing. Sometimes people have this misconception that um, you need to change what you're doing before the enemy team can encounter it. It's kind of it's weird because it's kind of a plateauist mindset to not change things, right? You always want to kind of anticipate what the enemy's reaction is to your play or solution is to your play. But sometimes if they're so far away from finding a solution, or if they just are having no success, you can kind of just hammer home the same approach to the rounds. So that's really what I'm looking at. And then the other thing too is um, Gecko being able to Gecko and Sky being able to Sky Flash through Viper walls, through Harbor walls, through Brim smokes to give the Gecko info on whether or not he needs to throw his flash, right? Because the most annoying thing in the world for Gecko is throwing a flash that gets no value. Then you got to sit there and go pick it up, and then you die potentially, right? But the Sky Flash is like a leading indicator, and basically will tell Gecko, okay, the Sky Flash went off, boom, I'm gonna rip another flash, right? They're blind, they can't shoot my Dizzy, boom. Now we get info on where the paint shoots, right? So things of that nature are what I'm gonna be looking for. And then 100 Thieves, how well do they play proactively around the map? Are they more passive? Are they playing more retakey? Because the other thing too defensively is with the wingman, you can kind of play more retakey in theory, but sometimes it doesn't make sense, right? Depending on what comp you're playing against. So sorry, excuse me. All right, let's get into this. I'm just gonna yap about random shit that I notice. Okay, so let me pause here. Let me just make sure I'm on full. Ooh, an ADP. Dang. Okay. So yeah, start of the round, nothing crazy here. Standard Viper wall. I don't know if this is the Viper wall. Like, it's a pistol, right? So it's a set strat. Like, I don't know if this is the best Viper wall for playing against this comp though, because what you're gonna do is you're naturally gonna play kind of behind it defensively, and if you give them all, you guys can see my cursor. If you give them all the space top long, they can exec on you. If you give them the space outside shower, they can kind of exec on you, right? So sometimes like a deeper wall that might make more sense against these exec heavy comps is one like this that goes through the TP. And it won't really show exactly how it goes, so I got to double up on it here. But it cuts more space outside hookah and long, right? Meaning you can be more proactive. You can take the TP, pop the Viper wall up, right? Try to shit on these guys, and then escape safely, right? People have to use util to come through this wall, which is what you want. You don't want Leviatan to feel like they can take hookah easily and take outside hookah easily, so they can just run their execs, right? So anyways, we'll track that as the game goes on and see how it see what ends up happening.
Always on an extremity, always trying to figure out what you were doing. See if they keep
Viper wall standard, Viper orb standard. One thing that's really important for A players, and this is just a random fact again, but always try to track which side the Viper is throwing the orb from. It's important information. Because a lot of times, if you want to play proactively and you want to hunt that Viper down, it's really easy to punish that if they're not very careful. Okay, they're getting 100 Thieves approach, getting info on the extremities here. EU's kind of jiggling shower. Bang is jiggling long. Exec comes in here. Dog into flash over. Yeah, that's good. So dog goes all the way up U-Haul with the wall up. Good thing about this wall, there's two real common walls. The good thing about this wall is the ability to kind of creep up along this right side of the Viper wall. So if somebody is playing close cubby, they feel very scared to do so. Right? You can drop that wall. The other thing too is you can get that one, you can get numbers on top of the box, right? You can get numbers close to the box, but you can also have your Sky dog from closer, extending the range of the dog, right? Which is what you want, right? So here they dog up through U-Haul, and then he Sky flashes after the dog, or maybe before. I think it was before. Before he flashes, then he dogs, and then their goal is just to fight backside, right? Which is really good. You don't fight for backside, and the other team is able to hold showers. The retake is really hard for the attack. I mean, it's really hard post plant for the attack because they just have no space, right? If you don't fight backside and go for a kill there, now you're limited to playing U-Haul, pocket, short cubby, rewrapping showers, right? You don't go showers early. Okay. That smoke right there, that's a defensive brim smoke to spam people through. Unlucky by bang. pretty much unlucky. The only thing is like low util for the enemy.
Here for Leviatan.
Probably don't have a flash, so maybe he just faces that Viper wall jump out. He might get 2 kills there, but hard to say. It looked like the bullet literally just went through the guy.
Known for the backstab, the headshot onto Bustio. Ex-teammate down. EU alone. 1v2. The first tap did not.
Okay, good pistol by Lev.
Really well to the
It's good understanding. So the other thing that I noticed, and I mentioned it briefly, is just this brim smoke here on default. This is a defensive smoke, and it just makes it really easy for the people that are playing in this area to just put suppressive fire through the smoke, either killing the wingman or you know, or somebody planting the bomb. It's also really good for just pushing damage or putting bullets through this line here when people try to go U-haul. Okay, it's also really hard for teams to run through this smoke and fight unless they have heavy flashes, which in this case they do, but they chose to fight backside through U-haul. So you'll see a lot of this smoke thrown at high level. It's really annoying, to be honest, and if teams don't have a way to combat the smoke, it can actually just win you rounds, right? Because you smoke here, you brim molly it, you viper molly it, you spam, you get the bomb down. It's really, really hard, and then defensively you can creep into the smoke. So we'll watch that a little bit more and see if that comes up pretty often.
Up with 2 on the sheriff.
Okay, same viper wall here for both sides. EU's shower again. Raze is now shower with EU.
As we would expect,
Double sheriffs.
going around the map, being that solo to give the
See this approach to anti-eco here.
A little push up here.
King is throwing the same orb. Go for a jump spot early. Dogging short for info. Okay, they see the brim.
Wants to pressure this U-Haul once again.
So I know yesterday in my last, or was it yesterday? Yeah, it was. Yesterday in my last video, I talked about anti-eco approaches and how every team that I've coached has a different approach to anti-eco. The approach that Loud had on the rounds that I watched was very different than the approach that Lev has. Lev is actually sending King in with a stinger. They dog early with the Viper Wall, get aggressive control. King feels that with the info gained, whether or not he dies, he can make a call for the enemy for his teammates to go B, right? So they dog up, they get early info, U-Haul, he takes U-Haul control. If he dies, the worst case scenario is he's losing a stinger. It's not the end of the world, right? And he gets all the info, right? So varying approaches to how teams will approach anti-ecos, that's something we'll continue to watch throughout this series as well. But which one is better? It's just a matter of opinion, right? I always like more grouped stuff, but I do like dogging the other side, right? So light initiator, utility on one extremity or one side of the map, and then group towards the other one and hit with numbers.
They're gonna make. I feel like they make this a precedent.
So,
know that U-Haul's gonna be something they want,
and this is good. No real util outside long B here. See, good. That was actually a good, really good play by 100 Thieves. But Lev knows now that they get that info that there's 3 there. Boom, what do? Insta speed up. Bustio actually has really, really good timing here because he was patient on this peak. They get bomb down. Got 3 people come and spawn. Here's that harbor wall that I'm talking about, right? So harbor wall. Honestly, not a bad job by Bustio. That's a little unlucky, but like here's that harbor wall that I was talking about was up, and then he instantly chains it with another cascade, right? Giving him another, I think, 8 seconds of stall, right? Pretty good round from 100 Thieves. The only thing I'll point out here is like Lev, what they do is they play slowly at the outside long B. When teams are on low buy, they are going to take more risks. So this walk down hookah is a calculated risk. They decided to do it because they dogged up U-Haul. These A guys with numbers, there was 3 of them, go and they seize U-Haul, clear that out. These guys are looking to walk down, right? So, yeah, but Leviatan knows that. They're holding for the push. They get the kill. They get the info on the speed up A, and then they just take the site. They spam. Good smoke by Bang here, or Matt. Sorry, Cryo. And just to try to put pressure. Anything can happen in this game. Good round by both teams, I guess. Okay, let's see if anything changes here. Any ults? No ults. Same Viper wall here for both sides. Tech pause, yeah.
will switch gears if you want to, playing passively.
Versus 100 Thieves.
Okay.
Thank you for
Stand
your
Viper wall
patience.
both
Let's get this game
sides.
back underway.
Yep.
So there's that push.
Cascade U-Haul is going to be very common. See what kind of, see if we just see a Gecko Flash here over the top that's going to land here in this cubby. We see a Molly coming as well. So that clears top truck, which is a very, very annoying angle to clear. Good kill by Cryo. So Cascade comes through from this side. This flash is very good because it clears the close right cubby, right? But also it clears top truck, which is one of the most annoying angles to clear, especially if you're just running a sky comp, right? Nobody's really throwing mollies for top truck. You know what I mean? Like, can be really annoying to deal with this. So that gets the info, it forces him to drop off. The brim molly is interesting. Oh, it's Matt's. Okay, so it's his own brim molly. Yeah, we're not playing against a brim.
Player advantage out for the Thieves to start things off. In the state of the game, too, looking at the Thieves, it's a gun round versus the bonus of Leviatan.
So again, they have this crazy exec, right? I don't know how crazy that one was, but their goal is on their bonus to run an exec, get scrappy, run it down short, and try to get these kills, right? Ground shower. Now this is a small thing, but with Gecko, it's a lot easier to get the bomb down shower when you're down numbers. You know what I mean? Like if they peek this and they kill EU, there's a world where they just send the wingmen out to plant, and all they have to worry about is obviously he can get spammed from heaven, right? You can also maybe get spammed from U-Haul, but you would fight those angles and try to clear that out, right? It's really hard to just send the wingman up short. You're exposed to a lot of angles here. A better chance with low numbers winning a 3v5 going through showers. Okay, good kill by you. Good round by 100 Thieves.
Still looking to gain space towards A. They have some money to buy, so we still have a gun round here.
Okay, another exec here. What did I say? These Gecko Molly execs are hard to deal with. This one, I don't know where it lands. I would imagine back truck maybe. Like in the little hallway.
So this is actually one of the first throw ups that Tex will use.
Yeah.
For dizzying.
Gonna go back truck. So they scale behind the cascade, which is very common. Yep, back. Yep. Ooh, he barely makes it out. See, but even that is so clean, dude. Right? Like, Cryo does a good job getting out. Don't get me wrong. But like, look at how well thought out this is. Cascade off this. This is King's. No, this is Sean's Viper. This is Bang's Viper Orb. He gets in a spot where he ults, wraps, goes through U-Haul, and can wrap it back front sight to pick it back up again, right? Now, the other thing that I've noticed is so far Leviatan has not really gone showers except for re-wrapping it late. I wonder if 100 Thieves are going to notice this and start taking the TP to showers or just holding on to showers control, right? There's so much util. Made deep. Harbor Orb up top. Oops. Deep flank by Boostio coming in. Aspas is just in no man's land. That is scary. He is Thanos though. Are they not? Oh, they're scared to push him. Oh, fuck. Like, EU 100% knows that he sees that guy. 100%. But this smoke is... That's Matt's smoke. So I think he smokes this to give them more space to come out of the choke, but in reality, Obviously, hindsight 2020, this smoke kind of screwed them here because they would have killed Aspas unless he just goes insane and insta-dinks 3 guys. But they would have killed Aspas here, right?
Man in, pick back up. Great defensive positioning all around. Just at the
Would have killed him right here. They should have ran out, right? Do they have flashes? No, because the only flash they have is flanking. So it's really hard for them to make it out of the choke, right? And then Aspas kills 2 here. So.
Trying to go for a temper tread out from the heaven side, but he still stays alive, and this is looking grim here for 100 Thieves for the comeback. Com once again, that's super late, watching that flank. EU now the last player standing, only has a Guardian to work with. It might be a Guardian that he might try to upgrade now within the pipes as you see the pings on the weapons to save his weapon.
Just a position, a little more credit than his, but he basically held off 4 people. The smoke went down, shot 2 through the.
Good round by Leviatan. I mean, I think 100 Thieves is going to realize that playing U-Haul is just very, very hard, if not impossible. Probably going to play more for showers on defense. Try to hold on to that space instead. Now there are a lot of set plays for showers that are very annoying, right? Shit like this. So lots of teams will do the Viper Molly here. Teams will do Gecko Molly like that, right? And what happens is you go and you swing this, and you're vulnerable, and then you run out the Gecko Molly. A lot of teams will add like a Brimble to this play. They'll either put it here, like this, so you can't go anywhere, or they'll do like here, right? You have to choose to swing into them while you're vulnerable, or you run backwards and kind of just die. So playing for shower is not safe either, but based on what I've seen so far, let's see if Leviatan also knows this, that they're like conditioning this heavy U-Haul approach, right? To try to force 100 Thieves to play more for shower, and then because of that, they are going to start running these crazy, weird, like Viper Molly, Gecko Molly execs, right? Or sending Aspas in with a satchel, right? Because a lot of the time, like these high-level teams, strategically, that is what they're trying to do. They're trying to show you what they want to do in the early half, to force you into playing a certain area of the map, and then trap you with whatever set plays they have, right? So let's see here. Nothing new, nothing new in terms of Viper util.
One thing that Zix could do here is bring the objective base of the team, something that each
Grabbing orb here for Peter, grabs the orb, falls back, gets the ult.
Going into this mix of a bind around the rifle that was saving that previous
One of the best phantoms in my opinion.
But they have a great opportunity now to just play,
and I love this knife.
And even fall back if they need to.
I want to talk about how awesome that mosh pit from Boostio, or I'm sorry.
So okay, so they start heavy outside, heavy outside showers, and then they pivot over towards B. And really, what Com is going to do here is Com is going to misdirect with his dog, I think, and King is going to Viper Molly spawn, right? Like spawn here where Raze is, right? So we're gonna show a body here. We're gonna run up with it. And then they're just gonna go A. They've got Rocket. So really all they're trying to do here, good rotation though by Asuna. He's not biting on it, right? And really it wasn't that great of a misdirect because there's no other util to support that dog. It's just an info dog. All it is in yesterday's video I was talking about that push pull mindset and moving, doing stuff with an initiator to, or like I think I was saying going at B heaven to keep the B players there without the intention of actually going, and then insta pivoting to events, right? Same thing can be said on this map. There's multiple ways you can do it. You can use the TPs, whatever. But in theory, if you dog from here and you run all the way back here, if you're able to keep people on B site, specifically if they're towards long, like Octagon, the rotation time from Octagon all the way over to A site, CT spawn pipes, is very long versus dogging from outside hookah right here and then running back short and then being with your team, right? So not the greatest misdirect, but I understand the intention behind it, right? Sometimes you just make calculated, you use util in a calculated fashion without the desire of getting a kill, but just keeping people in place so they don't rotate, so that when you can go hit a site, there's less numbers at that site, right?
Pivoted towards the top of the
So now we're going to have a dogless site exec here on A. Let's see what Lev tries to do here. So before this exec starts, we've got Aspas with Rocket. We'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if he leads with that because they don't have the dog. But also you've got Asuna with the Rocket, and you have Boostio with the Shark. So it's not really a post plant that Leviatan can kind of just play passively, right? They do have the Viper mollies that they could play off. They do have the Gecko molly for post plant, but it's not like they have a Brim molly or Brim ult, right? So I expect them to be a little bit more proactive here in the post plant, and go for kills before the bomb gets down. So let's see. This is going to be a back. This molly should land on Cryo's head. Back U-Haul molly again. Info flash for you. Sees nothing. Aspas leads with the ult. Ooh, good job by Peter, but he goes into the Viper molly. Great Viper molly. Good job by 100 Thieves though, understanding where the wingman is going every time. Good kill by Cryo again. Really good. Wow. Really insane ult by Boostio. I didn't even see that happen, to be honest. So he ults from spawn. Good C's by EU too. Insane C's by EU. What did that hit? 3? Yeah. Really good. This is an insane round by 100 Thieves. But Leviatan has the right idea, sending Aspas in, going for a kill. They understand that 5v5 retake, it's probably not that great for them, right? So they send Aspas over the truck to try to get a kill. Asuna does a good job dodging the result, similarly to, what's that clip? It's on Bind too. I think it's Nuki? Yeah, Nuki does it, where he dodges the result by satcheling or whatever. Similar situation here, not really, but a little bit. Dodges the result, unfortunately goes into the Gecko molly, or the Viper molly. Aspas kills him, they get traded out 4v4. But because they have this Gecko molly back sight, these guys can't really push U-Haul. Like they can, but they can't really push out fully. So what does 100 Thieves do? They understand that everybody is front sight. They understand time is low. Matt, Cryo. Sorry, I'm gonna use first names for some of these guys just because I know them, but subtle flex. But he does a really good. He actually wins them the round because he disallows the other team from getting the bomb down. You notice he smokes. He does this smoke here, and on 100 Thieves used to call this the mochila smoke, right? The mochila smoke to spam the bomb. And he does a great job understanding that most Gecko players are going to force the wingman to go against this angle right here, the back of the truck. Now, if I'm a Gecko player, I'm gonna start varying, like, let's say next week, Tex. If Tex is continuously putting the wingman here, this is the easiest kill in the world for spam, right? Next week, maybe Tex should be planning here, right, or in the middle. You know what I mean? Just little changes in plant spots can actually be. Can win you rounds, right? So Cryo knows that the bomb's trying to get planted here. He kills it. Seas comes in. Gecko ult is amazing, and the round is just won. Insane round. Really good round. Good understanding by both teams. Like 100 Thieves understanding that they don't need to do too much. They get the raise ult at the start of the round, and really it doesn't get that much value for them, but they're thinking ahead, right? Damn, nice shot by Tex. Yeah, let's see here. Anything new? Viper wall. No, same shit. Viper orb. John still has Viper orb. He's probably playing it for hookah, which is decent. So remember how I was talking about being super proactive on defense and being more what's the word? Starts with a D. Disruptive. Being more disruptive, right? This is not really that, but what you can do is you Viper Orb that choke and you Viper Molly the choke, and if you hear the Gecko Molly going over from outside hookah, or you hear dog coming in, you can kind of just counter util. You always want to be thinking this game, and actually I'll talk about this because it's important. Just real quick. Okay. In this game, there's a concept of util trade that's really important. Lots of players understand this really well, so if you do, go ahead and skip ahead, but if you don't, I'm going to yap about it for a little bit, okay? Now, there's different ways to think about the value of utility in this game, right? It's very complex, but it's also very simplistic, right? Sometimes you can think about it in a financial sense, right? So a Viper Molly is $200, an orb is $200, and the combination of those two pieces in certain areas of the map can counter $1,000 worth of util from the other team, or $500 worth of util from the other team. Basically, what I'm getting at is if you can use a piece of utility, and I'm not saying always, but most times on defense, if you can use a piece of utility to counter multiple pieces of utility from the enemy team, it's usually a good idea to do so, right? For a multitude of reasons. One, they get no value from it, from the util. They get a little bit of value. The fact that you use your utility to cancel it, right, or counter it. They also understand your position on the map, which can be valuable and can help you understand how the enemy team might be playing, right? So on certain maps, it maybe is more valuable than others. For example, on Lotus, if Killjoy, or let's say Viper is playing C, but we didn't know Viper was playing C on defense, and then Viper orbs up and uses a Molly C. Now we know that the enemy team, so if I'm on attack, I know that the enemy team is probably light on C, meaning that if this Viper um, decided to not molly the choke, maybe the Viper wants us to come into the site, meaning that the enemy team has numbers on the site, right? So when people counter util something, it's usually because they don't want you to go through at that moment. Now there's a million different reasons for it. Maybe their teammate has a really good flank timing. Maybe they don't have numbers on the site to support them. And sometimes there's mind games involved. Sometimes you want to counter util and just blow all your util and let the enemy team that you know that you don't have it, so that they do come through and your entire team is there, right? Another reason is to stall for rotations, right? Tons of different reasons, right? But at a higher level, logically, there's always going to be some type of use case behind the util usage of your opponent, right? Now, with that, it gets really complicated because there's mind games involved, right? Like there's mind game. Like let me just think of another example of a mind game, a util based mind game. Okay, here's a good one, right? So let's say my Sky player is here, right? And let's say the enemy Viper walled up early round, cut the vision here, and I'm playing Raze, and I go all the way up here, right? My Sky could be jump spotting this. Jump spot, jump spot, jump spot. And this Raze is not holding anything, not peeking anything, right? A good thing to do, like, is just throw a Sky Flash out here, because you're toying with the enemy team. You throw a Sky Flash here, that shows that, oh, I need info. I'm playing Sky. I need info. I don't know if the enemy team is outside here at Rubble. Let me throw a flash to clear that. But you know what? I actually do know that the Raze is here. Right? I do know that this is clear and that my Raze is here. But this util is being used to bait for him. You know what I mean? So it's not always now that use case for the util is logical, but the reason that someone uses it is not always going to be the same every single time. Does that make sense? Oftentimes, I would say 9 times out of 10, especially at lower levels, people are just throwing util because there's a logical use case behind it, right? Or they're just sometimes in rank, they just throw it to throw it. But let's just talk about competitive scrim environment, right? People are throwing this Sky Flash because they need info. They're not throwing it to bait for their teammate. You know what I mean? The higher level you go, the more mind games there are, right? So you need to be mindful of situations like this where teams might be using util inefficiently to get you to think something. You know what I mean? To add on to their play. Right. So and then I know yesterday I was talking about the whole example of the role of the lurker and going across A and yada yada yada, right? So if you guys remember this, or if you watched my video, it's only a couple rounds on split, but I think there's some value to be had by watching that. I think the setup was like this, right? We had 10's top ramp, and Saucy was here and Zelsis was here. Okay, Zelsis is primed, ready to molly off this back wall, so it lands here. Tens is just going to peek and go for a kill here. He's also just holding the lurk with the ability to omen flash, right? And then Saucy is just grabbing info on A. So Les goes through this wall here, has his orb up, drops his wall because he wants to take a fight. That's just who Les is. He likes taking these fights because he's very confident in his aim, and he should be. I mean, the guy is an absolute surgical assassin. Like he's just crazy, right? His aim is so steady. But what he does is he gets hit by this sky flash, right? Then he instantly leaves. His job is to threaten the lurk. Now, Saucy goes and he flashes this, which kind of gives the idea that Sentinels wants to get info A because they don't have numbers A, right? They crave the information because they don't have people there ready to fight. But in actuality, it's all a ruse. It's all a fake, right? Saucy is grabbing this or this flash to get this info. Tens is ready to flash if he wants to, or if he hears people running up the ramp, or the enemy team dogs, or whatever, right? So that's another example of teams like using utility, quote unquote, inefficiently to send a message to the other team about how they're playing, when in reality it's all just fake setup. You know what I mean? So sorry for yapping. Okay, back to the idea of util trade. Okay, real quick, I'll just explain it again, super quick. Now let's just say we're playing. Let's just use their comp as an example. Okay, but Gecko, Viper. Let's do the Viper wall. Viper's here, throwing his orb. Boom, boom. And who else we got? Sky and what am I missing? Harbor. Okay. So start of round. Harbors do a lot of different things. Start around. It just depends, right? There's this wall they do sometimes, paired with the sky flash to clear left side hookah, and then if that's clear, you can go ahead and like Roomba the right side or whatever. A lot of times harbors do that, or they'll go up short and wall off U-Haul or wall off the top truck angle. Anyways, don't worry about any of that stuff. Let's talk about Bang here. Okay, if Bang is playing, so in this round where I stopped watching the VOD, Bang is playing hookah. His role here is to hold on to hookah, but not die for it. And I think every team has different protocols and understandings and values on certain space areas of the map, right? His job is to hold on to hookah and make it very difficult for the enemy team to take hookah. Okay, so let's say Leviatan goes up and they decide that they want to go for a B hit. Remember that exec that I was talking about at the start of the round, or the start of the video? This or this or whatever. This. Let's do this, this, and this. Let's just say this is their hit right here, right? Let's say they do that, and sorry. So they do this exec. Sorry about that. They do this exec, and he can hear all this util coming in, right? What are they gonna do before this? They're gonna sky flash this for info. They're gonna potentially dog, yada yada yada, right? They're gonna do what they need to do. Now, what can Bang do? Let's just count. Let's put a monetary value behind the amount of utility usage in this round. Let's get rid of this raise nade because he needs to get into hookah to do this. Okay, so they've got Viper. What Mosh Pit is what, 300, 250? Let's say 300, 300, 200, 500. Dog 250, 750. Sky Flash 250, 200. I think. If you're looking at about $1,000 investment here on this exec that Bang can just counter with his Viper orb and his Molly paired together, right? Now it's not going to be as simple as that, but that's the idea behind util trade. If there's ever a situation, right, and it's very complicated, things change as the round goes on, right? Like teams that use a dog at the start of the round, like breaking a dog at the start of the round has a lot more value because now the enemy team has to figure out ways to play around the map without the dog. You know what I mean? So as the round goes on, certain things become more valuable. Every piece of utility becomes more valuable as the round goes on, right? So the longer you can be greedy with your utility, the better off you are. But also you need to be able to understand the situation that is presented in front of you and be able to use utility to counter the enemy team's utility in an efficient manner, i.e. you're using your util that costs less to counter the total amount of money that they spend on their util to hit the site. And if you're able to do that efficiently and stay alive, that's how you become a really, really good defensive player, right? And that's how you become super aware of like how invested teams are in hitting a site based on the utility that they use, right? A lot of teams will use the dog to misdirect. So this is something that you could look at in VOD review. How often does a team use the dog to hit? How often does the team use the dog to misdirect? How often does the team use the dog to just for info or taking space? If the team doesn't use the dog to hit, I'm less inclined to use counter util to stop the dog. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't make sense for me. I would much rather wait for the team to get ready to exec to throw my Viper Molly under hookah versus just mollying the hookah choke, right? So I hope hopefully that makes sense. If you guys have any comments or want more clarification on that, I can make an entire video about that, probably just with like the most common use cases on every single map about util trade, um, and stuff like that. But the other thing that's super, super important that I want to talk about just briefly before I get back to the VOD is how the start of the round on defense is so important from a communication standpoint. You need to be able to communicate with your site partner, whoever it may be. What is the worst case scenario thing that can happen to us, and how are we going to respond to that, right? So bang, if he's playing long B here or he's playing hookah and his teammate is long B, right? Let's say it's Gecko, right? It's him and Boostio. Boostio, could he go ahead and just flash long solo and swing and fight three guys? Certainly he could. Is it a good play? Probably not. I mean, just because it's not a good play doesn't mean it won't work, right? It could work. But really what happens is these guys have a conversation on how they want to play the round. So I think something that's important is, if these guys come at us quick, what are we going to do? That is an important conversation that you should have with your site partners at all times. Really hard to do that in ranked, obviously, because people are just fucking weird. But when you're scrimming, make sure every single round you're holding tab, you're looking at the ults, you're looking at the money, you're looking at who's won off their ult. All of these things are important, right? And you come up with a plan against the worst case scenario thing that could happen to you, right? So because they have this Viper Orb and Hookah, they're more inclined to hold on to Hookah than they would be if they had the Viper Orb Long. If they had the Viper Orb Long, then they'd be more inclined to hold on to Long, right? Do you see that? It's much harder for teams to come through this Viper Orb. So it's very important that these guys they're on the same page. If they get pressured early, what is their goal, right? Are they leaving? Is he joining him in Hookah? Or is Bang coming long? Are they going back to site? Whatever the case may be, they need to be on the same page, right? And understand that there are certain pieces of util that are worth trading to make to make it more likely to avoid that worst case scenario happening on your site. Hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, again, if you guys have more questions, go ahead and drop them in the comments.
The 100 Thieves
Okay.
reset the money again, but it's not
Trying to go for a little seasonade action here, probably. Austin is not really super ready for it.
Back and forth in rounds. Nobody's gonna have any money.
Talk about Fade's use on this map. A lot of the time, so every team that runs Viper, they do this standard short lurk, right? Fade, because of the amount of utility that she has two dogs, she has the eyes, she has the C's. She can do a really good job of bullying the lurk. Similarly to the way that Sky bullies the lurk on Split, Fade can do that on this short A lurk. Okay.
Haunt forward, 100 Thieves each round.
It's not her only use case, but it is a good one. The other one is grabbing info out showers early, grabbing the orb, and then also being able to seize through the TP, dog through the TP, go with the TP. You can throw eyes outside of hookah. You can seize outside of hookah. There's really cool seizes that you can throw. Let me clear this. You can seize this with a Brimult. You can seize that with a Raise-Nade. You can throw eyes out through hookah, the hole in the wall or the hole in the ceiling here. Seizes you can throw through the TP. You know what I mean? You can prowler through long, right, to go through the TP here. You can eye through the TP. It's just a good agent overall. I mean, to be honest, I've been playing Fade a lot in ranked. Probably my best agent at the moment, and it's just because I'm hyper aware of what I need to clear, where people could be. If they're not here, then they're probably here. You know what I mean? So if you have really good map awareness and understanding of how teams like to play on a macro level, Fade is an amazing agent, right? Also really good against the op. right? Because the dog comes at you. If nobody's there to break your dog for you, and you're an opper, a lot of the times what happens is people just end up tanking the dog, and then instantly as a fade player, all right, the op is probably here. Now, could you counter that? Sure, you could just, as a rifler, you could just tank the dog and pretend like you're the opper, right? So again, that's that whole idea of doing the suboptimal thing to try to give you some type of mind game advantage over the enemy team, right? And then guess what? They realize, oh, like let's say, for example, just to add on to this example, and I know I'm yapping again, but this is what I do. They dog up long, right? Let's say they just dog up long, common against an op, right? And let's just say we're playing Rays, or let's just keep it somewhat realistic. Let's say Sky's here. Instead of shooting the dog, Sky tanks the dog and makes a step walking away. That signals to the fade player. Now, it's not a guarantee, right? It's not confirmed information. Oh, he didn't break the dog. Maybe it's the op. He doesn't want to show where the op is, so he's not going to shoot the op. Or maybe the Sky player pulls out his classic and shoots the dog. You know what I mean? Versus shooting it with a phantom. Okay? Now, what does that signal? Oh, ops at B, ops at B, ops at B. Let's go A. What do? They speed up A, and then the op is top truck. You know what I mean? So there's certain ways. There's definitely ways that you can manipulate the information or the callouts from the other team by messing with their head. You know what I mean? Okay, so anything crazy here? Kings having a rough 105. They get long B control. Kind of just holding behind the Viper wall here.
That's the first time I think we've seen Leviatan kind of
Small thing, but Aspas kind of has his back to the TP. If the enemy team goes for, not anymore, he doesn't. But if the enemy team goes for a reclear, he can TP to safety, right? Safety, because nobody showers. But okay, pump out a smoke from Cryo. He's got 0 smokes left. So I think this is gonna be okay. Molly's gonna good counter util. See, this is that counter utility that I'm talking about, right? This is good counter util. He's ready to bounce the molly off this slanted side of the wall to land in front of the long B entrance. He's got Brim ult, got no smokes though, so we'll see. It looks like Leviatan is going to go for some type of full exec, maybe under hookah molly by Gecko, molly here from Viper. See what happens, or molly top site maybe. Yeah, they wall up. See if these guys go after this wall cycle. Harbor ult too. Harbor ult on B is brutal. Brutal. That's the other thing too. Whenever a harbor ult comes down on you, never, ever, ever run towards your teammate. Never run towards your teammate, because what happens is it puts 2 big circles, 2 big stuns around you. The closer you get to each other, you're elongating that stun into like a mini breach stun, right? That's why when you get like a 3 or a 4-man harbor ult on a small site, there's no dodging it, right? There's no dodging it, right? So when you get harbor ulted, always make sure you split up a little bit, right? Or if you're running to get out to a safety choke, running to safety through a choke, then that's fine. That's different. Oh, good flash. Oh, shit. What the fuck? He just fucking midair killed him. Oh my god. Sorry, excuse my language. Can't help it. Okay, now we're talking about this harbor wall post plant, right? Now, one thing that Lev could do sometimes, honestly, is not throw this Viper Orb at A, because it's really, I think they could get away with not throwing it, right? They could just harbor cascade that at the start of the round, and they could grab this Viper Orb and bring it over towards B. And then once you pair that with the harbor wall, it makes it so hard for teams to retake B if they've got to deal with a Viper Orb. And there's a one-way here too that you can throw from outside hookah, but you throw this or you throw this, and then you have the harbor wall going up, right? It's really hard for teams to deal with. You got this harbor wall coming up, and then once that drops, guess what comes up? This, and then guess what comes up after that? A harbor cascade, right? So it's just like infinite stall, right? That's why it's so hard to play retake against this harbor comp. But it's also conversely very, very easy to get the bomb down when you have a harbor comp, especially when you have harbor ult. So
the off angle within that B cubby.
Okay, this round's over.
Giving
I'm on 100 Thieves.
this round in that
So I
series
think,
hard.
again, I think they're starting to realize that we need to play more disruptive.
Spike down.
Can't let these guys just take all the space, because what happened that round? They just inch their way up, inch their way up.
The synergy is
Wait
there
for all the
Leviatan.
smokes to run out. Wait for the Viper Wall to drop, then go for the exec. You know what I mean? So
Get, something
gotta play more
shares
disruptive.
potentially as well. Cryo Cells trying to watch it from that U-Haul. Very
Flash goes
passive
across,
right now.
safe pickup location, kind of.
But not necessarily
He should throw it. Actually, that's fine.
late timing and seeing no early pressure out of Leviatan on that A side. We did push forward.
Okay, so right away out of the timeout, what do we see in terms of a change? We see a different Viper Orb. So Viper Orbing long because they don't want to deal with that exec anymore, right? They feel that maybe the Viper Molly itself inside hookah is enough to kind of counter the dog. You know what I mean? So that's one thing. The other thing too is denying them the top long space here is very important, right? Because they don't want to deal with that exec anymore. So it's infinitely harder for I don't want to say infinitely, but it's a lot harder for Leviatan to take long B now that this orb is here, right? Now this is a save. It shouldn't be. They should be able to do whatever they want here, right? So here again, this is another anti-eco, kind of a little different approach here. The pace is a lot slower. They're just holding for aggression. Actually, the idea behind it is very similar, right? The only difference is they're not sending King up into U-Haul by himself because he has a Vandal this time. Last time he had a Stinger. It's no big deal if he really dies. Although, really, every death against low eco is kind of a big deal in my opinion. But yeah, it's not the worst thing. Now, if they were to send him up into U-Haul by himself and he died, it could lose them the round. You know what I mean? So now they have this same approach here, 3 long B, right? These two were together last time as well, but now they're just holding for the push. They know that 100 Thieves needs to take some type of risky play or make some type of risky play to make things happen. They can't just sit still and wait for people to walk in. Sure, they could. They have sheriffs, but as long as Leviatan does a good job with your utility, they're going to be able to win this round. I would say 9 times out of 10.
To make that move.
Okay, maybe not 9, maybe 8.
A little bit of early movement out of 100 Thieves that is allowed to Leviatan to.
Okay, so here again, Leviatan misdirect with the Skydog. It's really not even that good to hit with the Skydog, guys. I'm telling you, it becomes clunky. You lose a scaler, right? You lose a scaler, you lose a flasher, and you lose a gun. Most importantly, right? Remember how I was talking about earlier about how important it is to have somebody ready to flash? Like you give the Gecko a guaranteed flash proc. You know what I mean? Like flashing over the box here. Oh, it doesn't ping anybody. Okay, Gecko can hold his flash, and now what can he do? He can throw the flash that he threw on that pistol round, right, over the truck. That hits nobody. Guess what? Where are these guys playing? They're playing for showers. Okay, they're playing for showers. Then how do we play that? Maybe we go more aggressive spawn. I don't know. Every team's different, right? Maybe we rewrap. But you know what I mean? So using the dog to scale is not really that great unless you have result, in my opinion. It can be good, but it's not like generally teams are good enough. Teams and individual players are good enough to make sure that the dog gets no stun value. You know what I mean? They're able to break the dog. Nobody's getting stunned. They break the dog, they can just as likely to shoot you in the face as they were before the dog even was popped, right?
That dog from Calm is gonna get a lot of
Okay, little silent jump spot by EU.
seeing that.
If you guys don't know how to do that, it's pretty simple. We just kind of like crouch, jump, uncrouch. But it takes a little bit of practice. You got to move forward, crouch. It's like, I don't know. That probably makes no sense. Yeah, getting the bomb down here. Texas again, planning against the. Oh, what? What happened?
It's really neat to see how actually cautious
I don't know what happened.
is coming out of 100 Thieves timeout, thinking that
They really like this. They really like that angle.
Side, but what a cautious round right now for Leviatan.
So Aspas was there the other round too, but to me it's a little grief. A little grief, to be honest.
Out towards the palm tree at short. He went head to head against Lucio before, and this time Krau's trying to move in even towards the attacker spawn. And he gets
Good
denied
kill by
the
Com.
opportunity
Just a
to
solid, just a solid player. I
huge
think
information
he really
from
makes
that
mistakes.
information. Flip that wall bang too. This
Util
guy
is good.
why we have a
Shot by
champion.
Boostio.
And
Round's over.
Not too many open, not have Harbor West moving through. You see a smile on Osbos's face.
No
He's
change
feeling
here, really.
good
Gecko Viper
about
B
coming back to the
again.
scoreline. Like,
Got raised top
you see
truck.
those ults online.
Insta
Boostio
dog.
up right now, so they're gonna try to stop this fast play with
For
Harbor
hookah
West
control.
operator.
See what they do with hookah control. Okay, Boostio's opping. Okay. Sky ult, and they just go for an exec. Again, guys, this is the shit that I'm talking about against this comp. You can't give them all this space with this comp. Really, this is the way that you should think about the game. Okay, like just from a strategic standpoint, forget all of the perfect util usage and all that stuff. Think about, there's different types of utility, right? There's info utility. There's utility for denying vision, i.e. smokes, walls, whatever. There's utility for clearing space. Think about how much damage utility or AoE utility, area of effect utility, a team comp has. The more utility that they have that covers some type of area, right, and does damage, the more aggressive you need to play defensively. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? You can't just sit back and let the other team exec onto you when they have a Gecko Molly, a Viper Molly, a Raise Nade, a Gecko Flash. You know what I mean? A Raise ult. Now, it's very hard. It's easy for me to say that. It's very hard to actually put that into action, especially when the enemy team has Sky ult and Raise ult paired together, right? You actually have to give. I wouldn't be surprised if 100 Thieves wins this round, because I don't think this Raise ult, based on what I'm seeing here, I don't think this Raise ult is going to get value. And Boostio might win them the round, because they're not really. It's really going to come down to Boostio v King, I think, here. Anyways, who knows? So they do this harbor wall to clear off long. They Gecko Flash out. Gecko Flash is going to clear Cubby here. They got the Raise Nade here. Viper Molly bleeds through. Gecko Molly, I don't know where he threw it. He might have threw it. I don't know. He might have threw it earlier. Whatever, right? But you can see how this is a crazy exec. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about is this Cove. This Cove, he actually messed it up, though. Right? Yeah, I think he accidentally threw it like on the corner. There's like a little box or something. I think it hit the top of the box. But if you actually throw it on the ground at the bottom of hookah here, you can jump out of hookah safely without dying, right? And then you can kind of pop out of the orb and flash through and fight, right? So this orb is really, really good. You can jump out here, you can wrap long, you can come out sight, and then the harbor wall here protects you as well. So really good exec here by Leviatan, and 100 Thieves gives a little bit too much space. Let's see how this plays out. And before I actually let it play out, again, the way that you combat these crazy little exec comps, right, with Raise Nade, Viper Mollies, and Gecko Molly, and then the Wingman, and then also the Harbor Util, is you have to play a little bit more. You have to fight more outside hookah. You have to hold on to this space. You have to be okay with it getting scrappy 3v3 on defense. You know what I mean? You can't really fall back on these 5v5 retakes. So there's the Gecko Molly coming in. Okay. Okay. So, oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, good layering to the strat, you know. So this is stuff that you won't really see in rank too much, but if the play gets no value, they get no kills. There's layers to this. Like the wall goes across, it cuts into elbow. If the Raise ult gets nothing, that means that, guess what? This guy probably left sight and he probably ran around towards elbow, right? Now, he either did that or he ran towards spawn. What do these guys do? Fuck it. We know where this guy is. Let's just pop flash through the harbor wall as it falls and let's just kill him. So it's just good. It's good layering util. Probably pretty hard for 100 Thieves to win this round. Lucio had a TP, I guess. Yeah, that's a crazy shot. Oh. Aspas just too good, dude.
Pushing out from both angles, it's all up to EU. 1 versus 2, low.
Big. Another good round by Lev. Just understanding the amount of space that they get. Okay, now this is more my speed. This is what I like to see. The only problem here is that it's a low buy, but at least they're doing something proactive, right? You know, you wouldn't really want to do a 4-man push on gun round, but you could easily do 3. All right, make the round scrappy. Make it hard for the enemy team to win the round. Make it a 4v4. Make it a 4v3. Make it a 3v4. Make it a 3v3. Whatever. It doesn't really matter what it is. Anything besides a 5v5, because 5v5 is so tough on this map, especially with the mollies.
Look and pick up a gun and maybe work at the other side of the map, but extremity here is held.
So the pace that Lev plays on when the enemy team is saving is very, very slow. It's good. Play together. Mom is on the other side of the map. It's fine. He's staying alive. He's doing it in a safe manner. Good kill by Bustio here.
Goes back. You can see him on.
Now, I mean, small thing here, but this blocks all of top sight, right? Which is cool. But really, though, against I think what could even be sicker for them is this wall also slows people. So if they actually moved it left or right, sorry, and moved it so it cut this entire thing, right? Like if people tried to run through the wall to leave to safety, and then they're slowed in the gecko molly, they potentially might die, right? And then you leave a gap open on top of B site here, where now you have a very small fraction of top site where somebody might be standing. Guess what? It's very easy for professional players at this level with the mechanics that they have to just go through and swing out hookah and just shit on that guy. You know what I mean? If you know where somebody is standing, 9 times out of 10, they're dead, right? For these guys, especially on 5 ping or whatever they're playing at. Okay, retake hookah. Bustio's getting scrappy here. I like it. Gotta get scrappy. Great job. Okay, he's anticipating that they're gonna do some type of speed up out hookah, so he throws the wingman. I'm fine with it. Now he's staying alive. Staying alive. Okay, jump spot hookah, seeing nothing. He's gonna group with his teammate, maybe? No? Ooh, NT right over his shoulder. Nice. Go by Sean.
Playing is so patient right now. There's so much utility.
Oh fuck, timing, dude. That right there is the most annoying thing in the game. I hate that so much. There's nothing worse than that. Okay, so small. So what happened here? Were they smoked off here?
Playing is so patient right now. There's so much util to get back in here.
They weren't smoked off, but so what happened was these guys are calling, okay, let's go. You know, they have harbor. Actually, does this guy have harbor ult? I don't know if he has ult or not. Yeah, he does. So he has harbor ult. So yeah, this is what happened. Okay, 4v2. The enemy team, the 100 Thieves is saying, okay, we gotta go. He has harbor ult, right? Because the longer they wait, the harder the round becomes. Okay, so Sean is here. He's holding onto this space, and he gets timinged because his teammates are saying, "Let's go." Unlucky. He has a good idea to kind of orb this flank, but he ends up just getting timing. There's nothing really to say about this. It's not a bad play or anything like that. But one thing that, and this is just kind of like a little tip for people. It's kind of weird. In this situation, it doesn't apply. Let me be clear. Whenever you feel like you've been watching something for long enough, as long as it doesn't have any like impact on winning or losing the round, just stay like 2 seconds later, right? I know it sounds weird, but a lot of the times people will walk into you in those 2 seconds. It's so weird. It's like a divine inner power, you know what I mean? It's like psychic shit, right? But just test it out. Whenever you think you've done something long enough, stick around and see what happens, right? And then if nothing happens, right when you think you should leave, wait another 3 seconds and then leave after. You know what I mean?
So much util.
Unlucky here. Probably wasn't going to use the harbor ult unless Aspas got one or he gets one. Gets one, good kill. And then Mizzino just peeked 1 second too early. He would have got a stun there.
been hot so far in this first map. Avoiding the shots with the satchel. Here it comes Asuna
Ooh.
from behind.
Good movement by Aspas though, gave himself a chance. Good round by 100 Thieves, mainly by Boostio though. Fucking heroics. Heroics. Terror is crazy, but I can't talk. Okay, we got the sus ult here. Weenie.
But also that positioning in general. And it looks like they still will go towards B here. Maybe they hit through.
These guys love B. They love B. So remember earlier when I was talking about how teams condition the way that they want to approach the map early on in the half? How long have I been doing? 5. Damn. Maybe I'll just. Yeah, we'll see. Okay, so they do this, right? They condition A hits at the start of the game. Molly back truck, or Molly back U-Haul, dogging into U-Haul. They're misdirecting up A with the dog, right? All of this stuff. It's all fake because they believe that the strongest part of their attack half are these B execs. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know this for sure. This is just all my opinion. But they start the game out strong by just going A, in hopes of getting 100 Thieves to call a timeout to make a change to how they're playing to counter what's going on, right? And once that happens, boom, they just go B, because they believe that their B stuff is stronger than their A stuff. In theory, it is really, really hard. It is very, very hard to retake B against Harbor and Viper. It's really hard. So it makes sense. And it's really hard to stand on the sites when you have to deal with all of these mollies, right? And the raise nade. Okay, lineup. I think that lineup goes too deep though. Nice. Good round by Boostio again. Nice, really good round. Great round by Boostio. Good counter util. Talk about counter util, right? Let's see how many things come over the wall here. Right? He throws he throws Molly here. Viper Molly, Skydog, Raise Nade, Gecko ult, Harbor walls, Harbor orb. It's a big one, right? It's a big investment. So really good round by Boostio. Really, it's the angle in which. Really the angle in which he knows these guys are going to jump out and path left. Right? Like, he doesn't know for sure, but he knows there's a good chance that they're jumping out to the left. Right? One, because this shark is coming up long B and they want to pinch, but also this what's it called? The Harbor orb, right? Gives a little bit more cover, right?
Now repositioning towards the left side to get these first.
Good round.
Little switches.
Okay, they're going back to A here. It's a full buy. No. Half buy from Lev. Molly's you. I always think like that Molly is really good paired with a raise nade coming from shower. If you have somebody that can nade this whole area, very strong.
They've got the space. Can they hold it?
Unlucky. Ooh. Oh, he has an op. No way. No way. If they lose this round, it's so sad. Oh, that was an insane season. That's a really, really good seize. Honestly, he's had 2 really insane seizes, both in the same spot. Part of Fade's strength, right? I think both times. Is it both times they got Gecko ulted? I think so. It's kind of like they really like that, and I think it's very strong. It's very strong. Really good seize. He only has 2 assists, but that's kind of bullshit, though. You know what I mean? It's actually kind of bullshit. Good round. Where's the op? Where's the op? I always laugh whenever I see the way Sean has his keyboard. So crazy.
Wait, where's the op? I gotta find it right away. And at least they picked it up. Boostier's already
Hey, good eye.
Where's the op? I gotta find it right away. And at least
Yeah. This so okay. This actually the first time this ever really happened was, well, fuck, we're not a fracture. Okay, there's a way to throw fade eyes where they pop instantly as the enemy team turns the corner. Okay, so like he throws it on the ground here early to pop, and then people that come and peek like this, they instantly get scanned. They don't have a chance to shoot it because it's already active. The same way that a gecko flash works, right? You throw a gecko flash in the sky, and then it shoots on you after it's activated, right? After that little noise. Same exact thing here, right? Same with a Sova Dart. Sova Dart comes and it pings once, and you can stand there and then dodge it, and then come back in and come back out and whatever. Same exact thing, right? So that's a cool use case. The first time I've ever seen this used, I think it was Navi on Fracture. They were running like a Fade Viper comp or something. Fade Viper Omen, something. KO something, I think. KO Raise maybe. And you would throw that in a main. And people would turn the corner as defense. You would throw it, and people would turn the corner on attack, and then they would just get insta pinged. So this is really cool. This is a really good piece of util. Not sure if people knew about that or not, but I want to point that out.
Already positioned now towards Lone B. As for Leviatan for the last round of the half, they were looking for that early pressure, trying to.
The cool thing about Fade over Sky too is that you get on those pings, you get confirmed info. You can see who it is. You know who it is, right? Because you could say the same thing about Sky Dog, but it's not a rechargeable, right?
Catch some players off guard towards showers, but
I feel like the info is a little bit more accurate with Fade than Sky, but
still controlled towards the A side.
it depends.
100 Thieves now 4 and 4 on rounds. They get the first kill. It's just too much for Lev to keep a sight. A man down.
No, it's Viper ult.
Harbor wall already used. A little bit of a different look here from Leviatan.
Exactly. Split out the site.
It's gonna be a hard round for 100 Thieves to win.
In Leviatan. Showstopper. Screen out space, and somehow it lands right at the feet of
That's really big. So
control the front. They have a pit to work with for the pulse plant. In Leviatan.
it's very, very, very subtle, right? But I would not be surprised if these guys knew. Hey, do you see how Aspas?
The site. Control the front. They have
Let's see how he aims when he aims to shoot the ult.
in Leviatan.
See how he aimed literally at the middle of the floor there instead of the back wall? Now, if he moves it a little bit closer left, I think it probably does more damage and gets a kill 100%. Right? I wonder if they have a Viper Molly. They have a Viper Molly in here too. I'm sure what ends up happening is this, right? King runs up. King has Viper ult. Now, really in theory, like, you want your Viper to get this ult down, right? But what they do is so if that's the case, you would have him towards shower usually. But what they do instead is I think they scaled up with the harbor wall like this, the cascade or whatever, or he popped his orb. King runs up and he mollies like this. Forcing these, maybe like even like this, right? Forcing these guys to play here in this corner. And instead of shooting the ult at the back right corner here, he shoots, back right corner right there. He shoots it right on the ground, right in the middle to do maximum splash damage this way and this way. That's very small. I haven't tested this out in server, but it's just something that I noticed. Just because of the way that Aspas took his time to, he was like pixel perfect on that. You know what I mean? Now this is another small thing, really cool detail. This wall here, he can get on top of this box and it blocks heaven for him. You know, like he can jump from here to top site. I would not be surprised if he ends up doing that. Does he? The ult pulls him off. You see, one thing that I love moments like this right here. Right here. Watch how everybody moves around the map. Okay, these guys have post plant positioning that they believe in, that they want to get to as soon as fucking possible when the round is in their favor. Knives out. Let's go. Aspas gets to U-Haul. We got 2 people in the Viper ult. 1 person that should be taking contact is not the Viper. If you're ever in a Viper ult, you should never really be taking contact if you have numbers. Make sure you keep that ult up at all costs. let your gecko take contact, right?
Have to work together now. Already one
Let's see if that's what happens.
EU within that pit, trying
to make something happen.
Gets greeted by Mazzino with the backstab. Up towards showers. Nice spray from Boostio,
Boostio.
though.
Boostio's good, man.
The killer down.
Boostio's a really
Aspas
good
has
player.
fallen. And they try to find some space inside. Dizzy being thrown out from Tex as well. Mazzino again. Another
Just a really, really insane round by Really insane round by Lev. Good round. I like that. I like that a lot. I like really, really like that a lot.
But also huge fragger in these rounds.
And this Viper ult too, by the way, let me note that Viper ult. See the way that it spreads? So it goes around the site and hits that. It's very unlucky that Aspas died that way. He wasn't even off. He wasn't he was off angled as well. You know what I mean? He was not in this direct corner. He was here, which is what you should be doing, right? Whenever there's some type of vision blocking ability, right? Whether it's a Viper wall, let's say this Viper wall is up, right? You should never just stand here direct in the corner, right? Same thing here. There's a Viper ult that cuts like that. You should never just stand direct in the corner. You always want to be a couple pixels off, because guess what? The most common spam angle is that corner, right? Does that make sense? You want to try to survive as best you can. Okay. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna do this full map. Let's see what happens. Boostio dad. Better hair than me. Awesome. Freaking awesome, dude. Sometimes I wonder what my life would be like if I had hair. Would I be here doing this right now? Probably not. 6'3" in the NFL. Probably.
Is that a world champion spill?
Just like a common com just shook his head.
They're gonna have to get the
Probably be dating Jessica Alba. Just kidding. Alright, pistol. Anything crazy here utility wise? Guy flash outside hookah. And then hookah walk. Gecko is here ready to flash. Okay, remember what I was talking about early on? Use the sky flash as a trigger for your gecko flash. Okay, sky flash hits, boom, gecko flashes. I'm sure Aspas rips a nade off the wall, right? Rips the nade right here. Boom, boom, right? And they peek. And then the gecko flash goes over like this. Sky flash gets info through the TP for them. Viper stall on A, probably an orb here. Peeking this extremity for info. Sky is here doing whatever. And then they just go for a walk down. Simple. Simple but effective, right? Everything makes sense logically. Okay, take a gamble. It's not bad to take gambles on defense, but as long as you do things intelligently with numbers, right? And there's logic behind it. All right, Aspas.
All right.
Maybe the best player. I think he's the best player in the game. Right now.
Just right out of the gate, pressing W, goes on to the side, 100 Thieves to find two.
Satchel on the top, Asnos trying to find that space back within the ace.
Job by Peter.
It works out. But look at this. This is all a ruse. Still two players from the, should I say the spike alone from the
Wow.
the B site for the plant.
Wow.
Create a diversion, get these picked, even it up, and get a pulse plant opportunity in the B site.
Heroics by Peter there.
And yeah, Lev is left
Big heroics by Peter.
have to go now back towards B.
Really good C's here.
Find a quick
Oh, what a C's, dude. Dude, E's timings on the C's is so good, dude. So good.
Stays alive for a bit. Look at the positioning from the others. Now the bubble comes out.
Oh my god, Aspas. Made it out.
The sheriff could still be very scary.
Wait a minute.
Tap it on the spike. The map's been flipped.
Surely
There's the
not.
contact on the two players as Cryo and Osnar working together within the tin. Aspas looking to reposition. They know now there's no tap on the spike, but at least there's that kill. One more to go here for Aspas.
Ooh.
DI by Power Ace, but it's
Damn, nice shots. Oh yeah, they're giving away free PCs, right? Jeez, iBuy Power is just in shambles. I think there's been like double-digit aces already, just the first week.
That's how it works.
For Americas.
7-6 here, Aspas able to get the
Bizarre.
frags, able to get that showstopper near on
22 and 9, just
That is the
owning.
round for 100 Thieves coming out strong. A good
Owning.
delay there as well.
The thing that I value the most about Aspas though is like he understands, he has this switch in his head, right? And I think this is so important for duelist players. You have this internal voice in your head, and I actually almost put out a tweet, but it was too long. And it's not even really for duelist players, for any players. You have this internal voice in your head, and this how well you can listen to it in the moment and determine how much risk you should be taking in the round is what makes you a really good player. Right? Maybe I did make a tweet. I did tweet about it, but I didn't go in depth, right? So, do you know those moments when you're like holding an angle and it's a 5v3 and your team has 5 and the other team has 3 and you're thinking, this is not smart. What am I doing? If I die here, we lose the round." But you do it anyways, right? That's you ignoring your internal voice. Okay? Do you remember that round, last round of the half where Aspas kills the 2 people? He gets the raise rocket kill and he nades heaven, and then the internal voice goes, I got to get to U-Haul. That's where I play in post plant. Boom. He instantly pulls his knife out and he just bails, right? That's what makes him such a good player, is his ability to just be tradable, understand his role as duelist, which is to take space, take fights, and take engagements, make space for his team. But then once his duties are done as duelist, he just becomes another cog in the machine. He's part of a system, right? He's not the guy who's ego peeking, updrafting, running into spawn as Jet on Ascent, right? Like, he knows what his role is in the team, and once his responsibilities are done, he does whatever it takes to make sure that he fills the gaps in the round and does it in a smart way that at least gets trades, right? So that's kind of, I could talk about that for super long, but there's no real reason to here. This video is already long enough. Okay, and 100 Thieves win the pistol. So 6-7. Okay. Now this is another approach to anti-eco. This is very similar to the way that Loud played it, right? Which is very group, Pac-Man mentality over util. Pac mentality over util. Under hookah molly. Flash out. Yep. Nice. Oh, not under hookah. Does that molly land? I wonder. Does that molly land and hit in the tube too? Probably does.
Is we're gonna look at the defense tags on 3. Hello. They're gonna be happy. Yeah.
Okay, 7-7. Anybody's game.
You're not really hearing it till it gets close, then you're basically blind once.
Okay. Let me point out this harbor wall here. Do you remember it? Okay, obviously you remember, but I was talking about this idea of being disruptive and not giving up space and fighting for space. This is the type of stuff that I'm talking about. It's to get through this harbor wall, you have to use utility, right? Sometimes you're using utility that you don't get back in this case, right? You're using a sky flash, you don't get it back anymore, right? You use a Roomba, you use not a sky flash, a fade dog. Talking about the wrong team, right? Make the rounds hard for the enemy. Force them to use utility to take areas instead of just being able to contact up. Because if they're able to contact up and take all the space, guess what? Their site hit is going to be even stronger. It's going to be even harder for you to take the site. But sometimes, notice here too, though, Leviatan is not really fighting with this harbor wall. There's not really people directly behind it in hookah. There is somebody long, which is very common, right? He's probably going to info grab sky flash through the wall, but there's nobody hookah behind it. But 100 Thieves doesn't know that. They have to respect it. And when you do stuff like this is a good way to remember that util trade conversation that I was talking about. This is a good way to kind of understand to push that in your favor without having any risk behind it, right? You're throwing a rechargeable harbor wall that you're going to get back likely by the time you need to retake, or by the time that the other team execs, a majority of the time, especially if you're using in the beginning start of the round, right? Unless they decide to just run right through it. So you're getting value in that sense. People are going to use utility to get through the harbor wall or get info through the harbor wall, and you don't even need to be there behind it, but they don't know you're there, so they have to do it, right? So instantly by using this wall at the start of the round, I like it. This is a good way, and there's conditioning that you can do with this. Lev can come down long B, they can flash through, they can come flash out of hookah, they can, if they really wanted to, they could send the sky dog through the TP and have somebody walk from hookah into the TP and take the timing, right, to get into the TP. If they time it right with this harbor wall up, there's so many things that you can do, right? So I like this right away from Lev from the defensive side.
A lot of times it can catch you off guard. Your comm was just out of range. They won't get any trades through the smoke, but you can see
so
walls on
100 Thieves decides
here.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I've never seen this. I've actually never seen this wall before. So they do a wall from here, similarly to this defensive wall that goes through the TP that cuts showers. That's interesting. I wonder if you got up to this corner and you sent it through. Probably go all the way here. That would be kind of cool. A little bit harder to pull that off. Cool idea though. Allows you to kind of scale up long. Good kill by Calm. Interesting idea though.
Yep.
A little cooking. Going on. Bass grave. Oh, no. Austin grabbing rocket. Again here, I remember I talked about this earlier. Austin has bomb. Maybe not how they plan it to be, but he is back against the TP. If the enemy team goes for a refight, he takes the TPs out of there. Bang, leaves, and they go away. Right?
Or is this actually going to be a fake hit teleport? I feel like that's a little too drastic.
Well, they're going to stop themselves in their track with Leviatan.
I think that was a missed nade by Aspas.
As they were trying to go for a flash through as a surprise play.
A nice little prediction there for 100 Thieves to back off. And
Yeah, that was a good read by 100 Thieves actually.
There, but do not get the
Oh wait.
they were hoping, and they're calm.
30 seconds.
Smalley lands right here.
Gets a little bit of it and knows that hit can
Oh,
still come
top
deep.
side. Oh, okay.
Force to play in front
Good,
of
I like that.
being thrown on the ground. Still gets that pick off onto Asta. Bang then drops out to get the trade. Late push out from Hookah coming out from EU as Aspas still stays alive with the pin. Calm dancer right back and that spike down. 10 seconds left on the clock. Nice little push out from Calm. As that's also the clock.
Really good round by Calm. The one thing, they ended up not dying because of it, but one thing that actually hurt them a little bit was the fact that the Viper had full juice. King had full juice when they went for the exec, right? So they're having to run through a Viper wall. Now, they ended up not dying to it, but like here, this guy should die. Bang should die every single time, right? King should have got that kill all day. Calm does a really good job of staying alive here. Even Aspas should have got that kill, right?
Great on here.
Okay, this is that shower molly that I was talking about earlier. Let's see if they do a gecko molly here paired with it. Yeah, it looks like they are. So they're gonna gecko molly here, they're gonna shower molly here, and they're probably gonna run it down.
Really reads in the mind.
Reason why I say they're gonna run it down is what? Because they're using so much util at the start of the round. If they weren't gonna run it down, it'd be kind of a waste, right? So they're going for a fast hit here. Good nade back right. Gecko ult.
Trying to create some space, but Aspas is there now after 2 kills in the showstopper. The hat trick answered back by EU.
Aspas is so good, man.
Just got hit. He got hit by his own teammate. Back by EU. Create some space, but Aspas.
So, like, it's a good exec.
Idea for this one, a hit coming in from 100 Thieves.
Monsters on the loose.
U-Haul's going to be the idea for this one, a hit coming in from 100 Thieves. Quick cascade forward. U-Haul's going to be the idea for this one, a hit coming in from 100 Thieves.
Monsters on the loose. Usio is trying
This
to
one-way shits on them.
Aspas is there now after 2 kills in the showstopper.
That's really all it comes down to. And the only other thing that's really hard here is that they don't have a second flash, right? They have a sky flash. This maybe goes differently. I don't think Aspas gets 3. It's just hard. And it's a good ult by Tex. Is that? No.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. He ulted his teammate. Yeah, Boostio ulted Peter.
Coming in from 100 Thieves.
Monsters on the loose. Usio is trying to create some space, but Aspas is there. 2 kills in the showstopper.
You see Peter like, oh, what the fuck? That's so funny. I will say this though, like both teams look pretty good. Both teams look pretty good on this map. Certain people are having off games or whatever, and that's fine. It's early on in the season. But at least from a strategic standpoint, like the execs are looking good. I think the fix for 100 Thieves on defense is super simple. Just be way more proactive and disruptive in the early to the mid round, and don't let these teams just full exec on you. But either way, they still got 5, right? They got 5 with no pistol, I believe. Really good. So here they're doing that. Yeah, yeah.
Mosh being thrown here towards the back of the showers as we try to spray across with the lower buy that we have for 100 Thieves to take control of U-Haul. Pain Shells pushes Fazino away. EU trying to lurk within showers but couldn't get that pick. Aspas with the support from the back of the site, and the half buy doesn't pay off for 100 Thieves. Leviatan takes the lead by 3.
Maybe half buy, do close smokes. It's kind of hard, you know what I mean?
In the round, they clamp down, and Lev made trip it around with Boostio and EU if they get that open the back.
Last passage is also just
Again, we didn't expect too much
farming.
detail on this one.
Doesn't even need to op. Just rifling.
Okay, 100 Thieves doing this B default again. Nothing crazy on this Viper wall, guys. They're using the Harbor wall again. They go for a flash through. This is something that 100 Thieves didn't really do, I don't think. Right, we just flash through, go deep shower. Ah, a little wide on the swing. Gets spammed. So, okay. Again, this is another moment. I think last video I talked about John QT before I like super awkwardly ended the video. Talked about him, the difference between a tier 2 and a tier 1 player is his ability to read the situation for what it is, right? It was him and A Heaven staying alive on an angle, just staying alive, making sure that he doesn't die so that his teammate defuses the bomb. This is another situation where Peter Asuna understands his team is down 3v5. He needs to make a play, right? You see the way that he just, there's literally no hesitation here. Viper wall goes down, he's going out. He ends up dying, but he has the right idea. They have to do something. They have to make some type of play. And it is a desperation play. But you know what? It doesn't matter. It's the right play in the moment, right? There's no hesitation. His teammates go with him. He's trying to make something happen. That's the difference between a tier 1 and tier 2 player. Tier 2 player maybe doesn't make that play. They sit in octagon. They wait for their teammates to get close to them, and then they try to scale out because they think it's good fundamentals to be right on top of each other when when you're walking and contacting into the site. And while that's true in most situations, it's not true in situations where the win condition is so far away or in the enemy team's favor that you can't afford to wait for timings like that, right? Look who's rotating all the way over from A. Harbor, right? Harbor's rotating all the way over, right? Who's the other person? That's just Harbor, right? But Asuna knows that he has 2 people max on B at the moment. Let's go. Let's get this back in our favor. Get a kill. Now it's a 3v4. We get the bomb down. Really, if you want to count that as a 4v4 now, you can. So I like that play out of Peter. There's nothing wrong with that. He understands the situation. Again, that's kind of the difference between tier 1 and tier 2. And I want to be clear. There are tier 1 players playing tier 2. Many of them. There are even tier 1 players that are not even in challengers. I think. Or ones that are at least like very, very close to being there. You know what I mean? It's like minimal effort. It's just the amount that you learn when you're around people that are very experienced, and obviously there's a big coaching gap. The further you go up, the more value you get in coaching usually, right? Because you're dealing with coaches that either play the game or have played other games at a professional level, or have coached at a professional level for quite some time. They've been around players way longer of high caliber, so they really understand a lot of the idiosyncrasies that some other coaches might not, or aspiring coaches might not. And so that's kind of like, you get those players that don't have a shot, that are maybe deserving of the shot and have the skill of a shot and are coachable. You slot them into tier 1 for 3 months. Who knows what can happen, right?
Where was anything there? Have the chance. Take the space.
See, anything different here? I'm at 100 Thieves. Let's see. To me, it feels like wherever Boostio goes, they go. You know? Wherever Boostio goes, they go. So I think what they need to do is they need to play the rounds out more misdirection. Send the wingman in without the spike, right? Fucking throw the wingman flash without the spike. Get some brim smokes down. Fake like you're hitting site. Even send Peter in. But then on the other side, guess what? You have EU and you have Bang taking some type of aggressive lurk, and then you pivot through the TPs and you go to the other side. You know what I mean? The rounds aren't ratty enough. They're just straightforward. They start B, they go B. They start A, they go A. You know what I mean? So there needs to be more misdirection and more confusion, more utilization out of the TPs, in my opinion. And these are all very easy things to fix, and especially for a core like this, or not really a core, but a team like this that is relatively new to playing with each other, and still, especially like match experience and scrim experience are completely different, right? Everybody knows that, and if you don't know that, it's the honest truth. There are people that will swing you there are people out there scrimming that will swing you like they are Michael Jordan, 96, 97 Michael Jordan, every single round through a smoke, no flash, dry, swing with a sheriff against, you know what I mean? Just like crazy shit, the craziest thing in the world. And guess what? When the match time comes, everybody tenses up, buttholes pucker up. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. You know what I mean? And then they don't play like that. So really what a coach's job, and honestly, I didn't do the best job of this either, I'll be completely honest, is try to figure out ways to get your team, and it's actually really, really hard, to get your team to play every scrim like it's a match. If you can do that, if you can mimic the match environment, and lots of good things are coming to you, right? But it's not easy to do, right? Things that you could do to prepare for a LAN, have your team playing with in-ears, have them play with volume down to 0.05, right? 5% volume. You know, like you could add crowd noise, like you go on YouTube and just like chanting and stuff like that into people's headphones, right? Or into the Discord server or TeamSpeak server in mid round, right? Like all of those things are important and hard to do, and that's kind of like, I don't know. That's the hard part. That's the hard part.
To know where Aspas needs to be.
Exactly. Assist daddy and calls and assists. Aspas now with the Outlaw in this round. Probably has an arsenal next down. He's going to be rocking with the Outlaw.
Wants that fun with it. Early orbital strike. There's the showstopper out. Clear as everybody. Everyone's playing so far front, but at least the cavalry is there to support for 100 Thieves. Clear as everybody.
Okay, wild round. So here, so we got shot. So this is what the exec looks like, right? Let me just play it one more time, and then I'll put on Valve Plant.
Early orbital.
He's going to be rocking with the Outlaw.
Wants that fun with it. Early orbital strike. There's the show.
Okay, so it looks like I didn't see everything, but based on the mini map, I got this. They got this. They got this. I didn't see where the Gecko Molly went, but I'm assuming here. And then they got, I think that. Pretty sure that's it. With Fade throwing an eye like this. And then they just run it down. Brim smokes wherever. Maybe he Brim Mollies something. Not sure. And they just stem it up short. It's good. And then they rock it up short like this. It's a good exec. There's lots of shit going on. There's lots of things going. Maybe he nades back here, Molly's back here. Who knows? I actually had a nade that that banked off this little barrel right here. Bink. And it just landed all here. It's pretty good. But yeah, lots of stuff going on. But it's a good exec. But what I want to see... Sorry. See my Bruce Willis desktop background. What I want to see in the coming weeks is like the ability to run these execs, but at a slower pace in the round. You know what I mean? And who knows? They might do this game. They should win this round.
So far after the information. They got it, chat. They got it. 2 players left. Aspas looking to play with the Outlaw. The timing on that spell coming down did get a tap onto Boostio. But the advantage still rings 400 Thieves. Despite playing at a default spot, 3-player advantage. For Aspas and King falling back, upgrading to the Phantom. They're just maybe not allowing...
Okay, Asuna, this is fine. He's got a stinger. Go for kills, dude. It's fine. Go for kills. I mean, really, though, I would probably give it to... at this point, I'd give it to Boostio. Give it to Boostio the stinger. Boostio run it down. Go for kills. Eyes too deep. Eyes too deep. That's unlucky. Like, little things like that is so annoying in the game. I know there's a little cubby there to the right, but, like, if that is just a straight hallway, that eye will hit every single time, you know? Or at least get shot. So, the reason why I would give Boostio the gun there is so he can just run and die and just get his ult for next round. You don't have to worry about getting an orb at all. Right? Okay, anything crazy here? Viper Ball's not up yet. Nothing crazy. Looks like another fast exec. Another fast exec, probably.
Yeah. At least for now, they want to look to fight it for Leviatan. Before playing that retake, Aspas is already on top of the APC. There's that first blood once again. Asuna falls. Pain shells down. 40 makes it out. Does make it out. Has support still within this A site. Cryo finally pushes across.
Oh man.
Aspas still does have the showstopper to work with, and just before Mazzino fell, the reckoning did come out. Unless they were playing it safer for...
So another good exec. I think it's the same exact exec, right? Let's just double check.
look to fight it.
Fade comes around.
Before playing that retake, Aspas is already on the top of the APC. There's that first blood once again. Asuna falls. Pain shells now toward he makes it out.
Yeah, it's the same exact for the most part, minus the brim ult. And the only difference is Fade is like over-utilizing shower.
Does have the showstopper to work with, and just before
The thing that's scary though is like if, well, I guess they don't have a brim, so they can't instantly counter it. Like this, if the Viper one-weight again, if he does a one-way top truck or whatever, or top box, it can get scary. But it looks like another good round by 100 Thieves.
Pushing forward to try to get the hit. The Haunt to get the information, and they're keeping him towards the back of the spawn. There's the TP across. These gets the two.
Dio. Bomb gets 2.
These are closing that gap once again.
They're worth dying there though.
Quick 2 rounds for 100 Thieves. They snap.
So Lev time out here.
To see how it's picking up with Theo is get sure.
And again, I think if I'm the Lev coach, I'm hammering home the idea of counter util, counter util, counter util. These guys have not played the round out at all. Let's stop their initial push. You see a molly flying in the sky. You see a dog coming insta. Use the raise nade. Use the brim, or they don't have brim molly. 1 second. I'll be right back 1 second. I'll let this play though.
It's for them, it's not the discipline of trying to save the economy, save the weapons. It's just fight through. It doesn't matter how many rounds under we are against our opponents. We can always fight back here and tie up the game, maybe even win the map. He's done it before here, and he wants to do it with this roster of 100 Thieves.
Aspas dropping the 30 back on a showstopper, and those have been deadly for 100 Thieves. If they can avoid that as well as Thrash, looking good this round. Shower push, it seems like, or at least a shower dizzy and a push towards Long B here to start things off.
For the Thieves, it's just trying to see, playing a little bit further back if there's any trap plays coming through and staying behind the wall. Heard the dog coming through to TP, so they want to fight back. There's a showstopper. It doesn't hit anybody yet. Just back and forth on these trades to start things off towards the Long B. Aspas still playing the off angle. Forced to fall back. Almost caught one. They're trying to move forward. Gates there to support.
My bad. All right, let's see. But what was I saying? I was saying.
Start things off.
I was saying, okay, these guys. If I'm the Lev coach, I want to counter util everything that comes out. Counter util or play like hard retake, but like maybe play more to flank or something like that. You know what I mean? Like they keep dying before the bomb is even planted, right? So let's see what ends up happening here. Aspas rocket. They got Tex ult versus the Fade ult.
Shower push, it seems like, or at least a shower dizzy and a push towards
Same harbor wall.
things off.
Thieves is just trying to see, playing a little bit further back.
Dog for shower in there.
Staying behind the wall.
Maybe they're trying to bully. Maybe this was their read. They've noticed that EU has gone showers every single time on an A fight, right? But he's always done it kind of alone, right? Except for maybe one time. I think he was alone every single time. So they see that and they say, all right, maybe we can get just a free kill on this guy. Maybe he's overextending. He thinks that he's comfortable because we haven't been playing showers. Let's go for a showers trap, right? Oh yeah. Ooh. Wait, that didn't kill him? It's because the thing is slanted, right? Ooh. Oh man. Good kills by King. That's rough if you're 100 Thieves.
The Nightfall came out to get some information, but we're not pushing in 400 Thieves. They just want to make sure we clear towards the back of the site before.
Contacting in.
Gonna have to play the post plant hold if you want to.
Throw it in the window. Yep.
Oh, nice.
Loki sees the window. Sees it. Sees it. Sees it. He's not in position. Pop and swing. Rough. I like this. I like this play though. By remember that conditioning that I was talking about earlier with the harbor wall going across long hair. Aspas actually takes the timing to go across, right? So maybe there's a lot of mind games involved after timeouts, right? Like, okay, if I'm Boostio, I'm 100 Thieves. Okay, we've been just dominating A, right? 3 rounds in a row, we did A exec, and it worked. Now their coach is calling a timeout to fix the problem at A. All right, let me call a B strat. But then really what Lev does is maybe they understand that it's, you know, they understand that it's mental, it's just a mental battle, right? And they send Aspas over to long. Baits for him. He's able to take the timing because they've conditioned this wall every single time, so he's able to cross before being seen, and then he plays off the ult, right? Unlucky that he doesn't kill Asuna here. I feel like the game is just shit, but it was a really good read, but it doesn't solve any of the issues at A, right? It didn't solve any of the issues at A, but it might not even end up being a problem because they might not go back to A. So we'll see what happens.
Regularly, and that's exactly why he's out fresh. Last one was a post plant defuse, so even if 100 Thieves
Flash across long. Again, they're kind of going B.
So this round,
I think they're going to go B whenever. Okay, Viper ult short.
Immediately at short A coming from King.
Hard to deal with.
Leviatan wants to make it difficult. Right
Beta is kind of good at dealing with it though.
I mean, why not?
Because you can seize and then prowler. Or prowler sees.
You know, in line with
Roomba sees you.
Be forcing their hand, and that's what Leviatan's trying to do here. The Mosh entry, getting a little bit of a lineup here from Boostio, and the team's about to explode in. Expect Austin on the front.
Oh.
And there's the first contact. People are going to call what you
Good refight. So, if you remember early on in the half, they tried to do this, but 100 Thieves did a really good job of backing up. This time it got them. Got them. NT. Honestly, though, really good, really good map from both teams. This is, I'm impressed. I'm impressed by both teams. I think that, with some more time, 100 Thieves will find their footing more so on the defensive side. But their execs look good. Their execs look good. So did Leviatan's execs, right? And that's really, you don't really want to play the rounds out super slow when you have Gecko anyways. It's not about finding the perfect site to hit. It really is about getting the space that you want and then executing, right? But I think the difference between Leviatan and 100 Thieves in this game was just like a little bit of pace, right? How they played the rounds out a little bit more on the Leviatan side and then went for the execs, versus doing them start of the round. Now 100 Thieves, to be fair, they had good success when they ran it down and did the exec off rip. But yeah, all in all, a close game, and actually a close series too here. It's a heartbreaker, 13-11. I actually didn't even watch that game. Maybe I'll do that one next. But yeah, I'm really excited about this season. All the games have been really good so far. Thanks again for tuning in, guys. I'm gonna end the video here. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, if you guys want to see anything new or any different matches, or have certain topics that you want me to focus on, let me know in the comments. Thanks, guys. Bye.